Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Kogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go.
So there you go. Now, for all the people spamming FF7 in the chat, you can shut up right now because we've already discussed this. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did absolutely poorly here on DSP Gaming. All right? I played about 20 hours, and it did not do well at all. People were not showing up for the streams. They were not engaging. They were falling asleep and talking about unrelated things and actually saying it was boring when they watched me play it. The support was ridiculously low for a brand new RPG playthrough. And at that point, I said, oh, maybe it's because of RPG overload. But if you want to know the truth, I don't think so. I don't think that was the case at all. I think it's just people aren't digging the game as much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm never going to go back to Final Fantasy VII, but if I'm not going back to RPG overload. I refuse. If I'm going to choose between two RPGs, I'd rather play Dragon's Dogma 2 than Final Fantasy VII Rebirth right now. But I might go back to Final Fantasy VII in the future. Maybe when we get through Dragon's Dogma, we're looking for another RPG, we can go back to it. But I'm not playing two major RPGs at once. I'm not an idiot. We literally just did that for 4 months. I'm not a moron, and I don't care how many people spam the chat and whine like babies about it. I'm not killing my business further, because in reality, as much as I enjoy RPGs, they kill this business. Literally, Baldur's Gate 3 hurt this channel badly for the last 2 months. I want you to understand that. That was a sacrifice to get through an insane game like that, and I'm not playing long games like that ever again. I can't. They don't fit my formula, all right? Even if they came out with Baldur's Gate 4 tomorrow, I would not be playing it. I cannot play these kind of games anymore. They don't work, okay? For as much as people came by the streams and supported them, the channel itself has dipped so badly. I'm not kidding you when I'm telling you I am down thousands of dollars a month. Compared to before I started Baldur's Gate 3, this channel has dipped in views and support by thousands of dollars a month. So you may think, oh, but the streams do well, and the streams are great, but that's not a business. That's half of the business. One side has done good, and the other side has completely faltered because of Baldur's Gate 3. Literally, that's the cause and effect reason it's happened. Okay? So I can't do that shit anymore. I can't. I'm not going to be doing this kind of insane stuff anymore, killing this channel. All right? Okay. No, I'm not playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth now. I already said I'm not. It didn't do well when I was actively playing it. And I'm going to be playing Dragon's Dogma 2, so it's that or one or the other, and I've chosen Dragon's Dogma 2 over Final Fantasy VII. I'm just more interested in it, okay? It's that simple. Fair enough? Okay. All right, Cream Sardine, would you like me to ban you now or later? Because I just said I don't want anyone bitching about this, and you're bitching, and I've had enough. I've had enough. I'm not going to have anyone bitching about Final Fantasy VII at all. Zero. Every complaint I get about it, I'm going to say shut up, because I'm not killing my business over this. And if you say it another time, I'm going to ban you. Because I've just had enough of this entitlement. Oh, I just want what I want, nothing else, and I'm going to sit here and whine and complain. But I just told you the rationale of why we're not doing it. Respect that. No, I want it anyway. Shut the fuck up now. Now I'm telling you, shut the fuck up. I literally just had my channel dying for 4 fucking months. I'm not doing it again because you're going to be entitled about it. All right? I understand if you like Final Fantasy VII. Personally, I was liking the game too. I was disappointed with the reception it got on my streams. It was way low viewership, way low engagement, way low support. And I was like, wow, I was shocked. I thought it was going to do way better than it did. And to the point where I was like, well, if anything goes onto a hold status, it has to be this game because it's just not doing well, you know? So I don't want to hear the whining. I'm the one trying to have a business here. You know, doing variety content. This is not DSP RPG. And I'm not playing RPGs nonstop all year. I'm just not doing it. I can't do it. I will go out of fucking business. You understand me? I will. I will go out of business. Not every RPG I play is going to have people coming by like what happened with Baldur's Gate 3 and supporting every stream in a huge way. In fact, if you didn't notice, with Final Fantasy, it was actually really bad. So stop with the entitlement. Because that's not how this fucking channel can work. I wish it could. If I had my way, we would play way more RPGs. I want to make this abundantly clear. I love RPGs. I grew up playing them in the 90s. But that's not what keeps a business afloat. People want balance, okay? And they need to have variety. I'm not going to be listening to a vocal minority of people who are going to sit here and whine and then basically get my chat just caught up in crap. I'm just not going to listen to it anymore. I'm going to do what's right, which means balance, which is always what's worked for this channel. And then when I stopped listening to that and I played a bunch of RPGs, it failed. I knew this was going to happen. I called it RPG overload in January. Everyone's like, not a big deal. And then what happens? I'm not kidding. My views are way down and the profit on this channel is way down. Just because people come back every day and will, tip on a Baldur's Gate 3 stream, that's great. But what about everything else? What about ongoing memberships? What about people who would super chat when there was a great game that they enjoyed? All those people are gone. You understand? They literally left because they're like, dude, you're playing the same fucking RPGs every day for 4 months. We're tired of it. They want variety. There's people clamoring for new games to come into this situation or to have something like Elden Ring come back. They're tired of the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So everyone, I hope you understand, and if you don't, sorry that I can't give you everything you want all the time. As they say, you can please some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, but you simply can't please everyone all the time. Right? I can't just fucking play non-stop RPGs. It will not work. So that's it. And I'm putting my foot down. I don't want to have anyone whining in the chat about it. I'm giving you a heads up. We're doing variety for the next 2 months until the end of Elden Ring DLC comes out. If you don't like variety, you're in the wrong spot. This is not DSP RPG, where I get less than 200 views a video because no one cares about lengthy RPGs, and then I go out of business. We're not doing that anymore. We're actually going to do variety content. Okay? Fair enough? Thank you to those who are being understanding. Really. But if your people are going to be stupid about it and complain constantly, I'm not going to put up with it. Because it's that kind of attitude that, sadly, people don't understand is very toxic. There's a difference between saying, man, I really wanted Final Fantasy VII and I really enjoyed it, but I understand why you can't play it right now. Versus, I want what I want, and if you don't give it to me, I'm going to act like a spoiled brat and just stand in your chat and whine and complain and make everything toxic. There's a big difference there. You see? There's a huge difference. This would be the equivalent, and I know you love the food references, right? You go into a restaurant and they used to serve your favorite dish. For some reason, they just can't serve it anymore. So, if they're not serving the dish you don't like, do you stand in the restaurant and scream at the top of your lungs, why don't you serve the dish? Why don't you serve the dish? Why don't you serve the dish? Or do you leave and go somewhere else? Right? Or, just maybe, if you're actually kind of adventurous, try a different dish. Because you might like it as much as the old one. Right? Or maybe you like it even more. So just maybe, instead of screaming around for Final Fantasy VII, which ain't happening anytime soon, stick around and watch another playthrough and you might like it. Instead of just being a whiner about the thing that you are so entitled and demanding for that I'm not doing. Okay? And again, it's not that I didn't give it a chance. I absolutely gave Final Fantasy VII a chance and it didn't work. It just didn't. People didn't show up. They were bored and said they were completely disengaged. That's how you can truly tell when a game just isn't resonating with an audience. When people are completely disengaged. They're literally not even talking about the game in the chat. They're doing everything they can to completely derail the chat because they don't care about the game being played on it at all. And that's sad when that happens. You know what I mean? I want to have a stream that people are engaged in supporting and enjoying. And if I can't do that, then why am I going to continue to play that game? Okay. I got a $2 tip. From James Nichols, which I already answered this, but people keep asking the same question over and over. You ready? I promise I'm not trying to be ungrateful or troll. I'm curious. You were adamant this last month about finishing Like a Dragon, even though it barely got any support and bad viewership. So why do you not care about finishing Final Fantasy as much, especially because it's the second part of a trilogy that you may want to finish up in the future? When do you consider returning to it in a dead period? You were so early in the game, and many of us were still looking forward to it. Well, I already answered this a million times, so let me answer it again. I like the game a lot, and I actually want to continue it, and I would probably continue it in the future, so I don't know why you're asking that, because I've already said that I probably would. But it would have to be a time when we're not playing other RPGs because I'm not doing RPG overload again. I don't want to play more than one RPG at one time anymore because it's just too much and it's too much for the channel and it makes the views go down, it makes the engagement go down and people are tired of it. In regards to Like a Dragon, this was a game that I was planning on playing for many years. I couldn't wait for it to come out. When it came out, I was very excited for it, but of course, it's a late stream, and people don't really like the late night streams as much. It's more of a chill vibe than anything else, and it's not really a moneymaker for me. It never really was intended to be that, but I knew that I wanted to play it because I like the franchise so much. It's funny because everyone's like, just quit Like a Dragon, but it's like, but I already played Like a Dragon for 2 months. I'm not going to drop it after 2 months. I'm going to play it and finish to the end, and then Final Fantasy VII comes out, and it performs just like a Dragon. Well, why don't you play Final Fantasy VII Like a Dragon? Well, because I like Like a Dragon more than Final Fantasy VII, so I want to play Like a Dragon and finish Like a Dragon because I'm 2 months into it. Okay, so now go back and replay that on half speed, and you'll get my answer. Because I didn't want to sit here for 25 minutes repeating myself. I'm not offended. It's just I've answered these questions a zillion times already, and then people keep re-asking them. So enjoy your answer, your Micro Machines motor mouth answer. Okay. Yes, at one point, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was my most hyped game of the year. Then I started playing it, and no one really cared. Kind of kills the hype, don't you think? Don't you think? The same thing would have happened if we were in opposite order. Let me make this clear. If Final Fantasy VII had come out at the end of January, and Like a Dragon had come out last month, and I played it in that order, I would have finished Final Fantasy VII regardless of support, and Like a Dragon would have gone on hold. It's just, they're interchangeable at this point. It's just the order that they came out. That's the only difference between the two. Haley says, oh my God. I have to repeat this again. Listen, why are you making a compromise for Like a Dragon but not Final Fantasy VII? Because Like a Dragon came out first and I invested more time in it. I just answered the fucking question. Could you please, if you're going to be on a chat and you're going to be like watching a stream, before you ask a question, could you make sure that you don't have anything lodged in your ears so you can hear when I speak? Because I've already answered your question. It's just a matter of semantics here at this point. It's just a matter of timing. Like a Dragon came out first. I was invested over a month into the game. And then Final Fantasy VII came out. I'm going to finish the game I'm more into. Right? If it was flipped and Final Fantasy VII had come out first at the end of January, I would have continued to play that game. And then Like a Dragon would have been on hold in the same situation Final Fantasy VII's in right now and would have come back at a later date. Like I said, I'm fairly certain I will come back to Final Fantasy VII later this year. It'll end up probably being a late night chill stream that will play over time. And it's probably going to be heavily story focused, not doing much side content. Because the side content, people were saying they were bored of it. So I don't see the reason to continue it, especially if it's not necessary for the game. Haley says, your answer was cut off by a commercial. Why did you curse at me? Because you could have hit rewind on the live stream and listened to the answer already. It's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. The streams on YouTube, you can rewind them to hear answers. A commercial doesn't make any difference. You're full of it. Nice try, though. That's a really nice attempt to recover there. It didn't work, though. Lucky Gremlin, I swear, like, again, you're not listening. People just don't listen to me. I literally just explained, did I not, that Helldivers 2 versus Battlefront, two completely different styles of game. One is a cooperative game where you need to team up with humans and communicate versus enemies that are computer controlled. That's the point of the game. EVE, team co-op. Right? Communication is key. Co-op is key. Battlefront is a drop-in, drop-out, team-based, online, competitive game against other humans. You don't have to communicate. That's not the point. It's just shoot things. Right? It's like playing Call of Duty versus playing Apex Legends. Do you understand? Call of Duty, you could just drop in, drop out, play it with randoms. It's still fun. Apex Legends, you need to really have coordination with a team if you're going to have fun and succeed. That's how Helldivers 2 was conceived and designed. You understand? Why would I play the game without the things it's designed for and then expect that it's going to be a pleasant surprise, or not pleasant surprise, a pleasant time? I'd be setting myself up for disaster. Like, I'd be an idiot. Correct? And in addition, I've already explained enough times with online co-op games, as opposed to drop in, drop out like Call of Duty or Battlefront or whatever, with these online co-op games, the focus is to be interactive with your team, talking with your team, having a common goal, cooperation, working together to succeed. And if you're doing that, you're not paying attention to the chat. I've done it before. I've played Destiny and Destiny 2. I've played Apex Legends. When I do co-op games like that online, people hate it because they say to me, Phil, you're not paying attention to us. You're not talking with us. You're not hanging out with us. This sucks. That's what we come to stream for. Well, you wanted me to play a co-op game, so I'm playing it. I got to play the game. I can't ignore the people there to be interacting with you. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say. I can't fix that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. I've tried the co-op games. They don't work. Just because one of the biggest games right now on the planet is a co-op game doesn't mean I immediately am going to be able to make it work for my content or my streams. It's just, I've tried them before. They don't work, right? The one thing I will say is, here's the one thing I'm happy about. Because I want you to understand, guys, that even though a lot of the things I say, no, I want you to understand that I appreciate the fact that you want me to play all this stuff. People want me to play Final Fantasy VII. They want me to play Helldivers 2. They want me to play. That is so much better. It's much better to be in demand, right, than to not. I'm so appreciative of that. Even though I get frustrated when you guys want me to play 20 different games at once and I can't do it, at least the demand is there to see me play the games. You want to see me do this stuff, and I appreciate that so much because the opposite is worse. It's way worse to be forgotten, that no one cares. Instead, it's the opposite. You want to see me do all this stuff, and that's very appreciated, okay?
I got the drip going. 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 It's like a faucet that's dripping. You can't make it stop. So what do you want me to do? Have a mute button that every second I'm tapping the mute button just in case I'm gonna have to clear? Like, this is what I mean. These dumb kids. This is what it is. It's dumb kids.